Hi ladies, and welcome to our Pnimi. This is Saratova Best. Have you ever felt like you're in a rut, or have you met anybody who's in a rut? Sometimes we could call it an orbit. When we're in a rut, it's a pretty not great feeling. So what do we do about it? So the truth is that in the 50s, the scientists were grappling with something called escape velocity. What you have to do to get the Earth, a satellite that goes around the Earth, that goes in an orbit, around and around and around, and will do that forever, what you need to do to get it to be able to break out of that orbit, to go out into outer space. And there was a lot of research on it, and they finally came up with the velocity that you need to get it to break out of its orbit. We call it a rut. That exists for us too. That wasn't just a scientific research. That is something that we research in ourselves. When we get into that orbit, same old, same old, same old, as much as we feel like I'm safe here, the soul is screaming and says, get me out of here now. Because the soul cannot bear to be in a rut. So what do? On a physical level, I'm happy to be in a rut. Give me same old, same old. On a spiritual level, my soul is saying, get me out of here now. Comes along Parshas Lecha, and God says, we're out. We're out of here. Follow me, we're out of the rut. This is what you have to do. Lecha, mi artzecha, mi moladetcha, mi beis avicha, el haaretz asher eka. God said to Abraham, let go, leave it all behind. Leave that place that you called home. It may not have been a really great place, but it was familiar. You got used to it. It was the place that you knew to be your home. And I'm telling you, leave it all behind. Because I have something better for you. You had a home, not a great home, but it was a home. It was a place. I have an infinitely better home for you, ready. And I'm going to take you there. Trust me, I'm good for my word. I'm going to take you there. And when you get there, you're going to look back and say to yourself, what was I thinking that I thought that that previous place was a home that I should stay in? Seriously, what was I thinking? And so, this is a call not just to Avram Avinu, to Abraham, but to us. Every single moment. Lech Lecha is not a story about something that happened a few thousand years ago. It is that, plus it's a current event, piece by piece account of what we're going through right now, right here. It's ours. It's our Lech Lecha. It's not just his story, it's our story. So God said to Avram Avinu, leave behind Artzecha, Moladetcha, Beis Avicha. Artzecha, your land. Eretz Artzecha meaning also what you want. The stuff that you got used to wanting, let it go. We've got better stuff. Because the truth is, all of us, when we were up there in the spiritual realms underneath the Kisei HaKavod, in those spiritual places, before we came down and our soul came down into this world, what we wanted was only to experience God. And the minute we came through the birth canal and we hit this world, and what we wanted to do was eat and sleep. So what we want switched in a second. We got used to it, and God says, get used to it. It's a new way, but don't get used to it forever. You have a memory of something higher. Now I put you down here into this world for something more grounded. I want you to put the two together. So don't get stuck here. I didn't even want you to get stuck in the heavenly realms. I brought you down into this world. Don't get stuck here. Don't get stuck there. Never get stuck. So leave behind what you think you want, your old wants, because you have your old desires, because you have way bigger desires that are firing your dreams. Promise you. Trust me, we have way bigger desires. Let go of the small d desires, go for the bigger D desires. That's Lech Lecha me Artzecha. Moladetcha means your birthplace. Every one of us grew up in a place where we were shaped by the culture, by the earthiness of the place. If I grew up, I myself am Canadian, I'm very Canadian. We do things, we think in a certain boxy way, which people, let's say in the Middle East and in South America and other southern countries, do not think that way. They don't have that type of energy, that way of thinking, that way of seeing things. It's a very different thing. They were shaped by the earthiness of their place that's way different. So when we get together, I want it this way and they want it that way because I am a product of the earthiness of Canadian earth. And they might be a product of Moroccan earth or Brazilian earth or French earth or Australian earth. It's totally different. I've been shaped by that. They've been shaped by that. Is that the place where I should rest my feet, make it my resting place, my home forever? Says God, yes, no. Don't absorb it. Take all the godliness that you saw before you came down into this world, permeate it, don't get stuck there. There's more to life than just being Canadian. Don't get stuck. Let's move on. I will guide you. That's Moladetcha. That's what was told to Avram Avinu. He came from Ur Kasdim. Wasn't a really incredibly moral, amazing place. God said, don't get stuck. It was easier for him because he really came from a depraved place. God said, don't get stuck. Let's go. Move on. We have something way better. And Beis Avicha, leave behind Beis Avicha, your father's home. We all hopefully were brought up by wonderful people with wonderful ideas that gave us a lot. At very best, sometimes we didn't get such a great upbringing. We got some from our teachers and from these and from the media and from all of this. We got stuff that it's time to throw away. Or maybe we didn't. Maybe in our homes we got really wonderful ideas. But that was still the best that Gullus had to offer within a limited framework. We're now 20, 30, 40, 50, 60, 70, 80 years later. And the world has moved on, the opportunities have moved on, the mindset has moved forward from a Torah point of view. Time to move on. Avram Avinu was told, all of your mindset that you have, which was great then, it's not enough for the future. It was amazing then. Not enough for the future. Time to move on. If you're living in Ur Kasdim, you have to have one mindset. If you're living in the land of Israel, you've got to have a different mindset. Time to move on. So even leave behind the stuff that needs to be left behind from your father's home. That's what Avram Avinu was told. Great! Now I'm not grounded. Now I'm kind of homeless. Thanks, but no thanks. So Lech Lecha makes me homeless? You know, at least I didn't have the best way of looking at life, but it was something. And now that's being taken away from me. Now God's saying, give it all up. For what? So what do I replace it with? So God says, I will take you to, follow me to, notice, not to the land of Israel. God didn't say, leave this all behind and go to the land of Israel. We know now, after the story is done, where he was going. God said, to the land that I will show you. I'm not telling you the final destination. We're going to go there step by step. I will show you. I will be your personal guide. Myself in my very essence will be your personal guide to take you to that place. I, in my essence, will take you to a place where you will come face to face with your essence. And when you come to face with your essence, you will be home. The real home. A kind of home that's real and solid and grounded and safe, and yet so flexible and so flowing that you can leave it again and go to the next one and leave it again. It's a movable home, kind of like the Mishkan, the altar, and the movable Mishkan, the movable precursor to the holy temple, to the Beis Hamikdash, that we took with us in the desert. We as Jews have a movable home. And we just take it with us. And we take it apart. We had a tent called the Mishkan. We took it apart, we put it back down. We took it apart, we put it back down. Our home is a place that's deep within our essence, that's deeply connected with God's essence. And when he says, I will be your personal guide on this journey, I will also be your personal trainer. I will give you all the exercises that you need to be able to be fit and in shape to do this journey. After all, you got to be in shape to go on a long trip all the way from Ur Kasdim all the way through those places and go by foot all the way up to the land of Israel and then transform it. You got to be in good shape. God says, I'll be your personal trainer. I'll get you in shape. And I'll be your personal guide. And I'll be your personal support system. And I will be there with you in my essence every step of the journey. Trust me, leaving that stuff behind feels scary because that's all you know. That's your home. The home that I have prepared for you is the kind of home that you will look at when you're in the middle of it and say, what was I thinking that I thought that old place was home? That was me? What was I thinking? That was not home. That was, I don't know what. This is home. And then we'll go to the next home and the next home. So in this Parsha, we are being empowered to not have to be afraid, but to be able to move forward with our personal guide, personal trainer, personal support system, personal coach, etc. The same one and only God Almighty, taking us step by step from our personal exile, our personal gullus, to our personal geula, our personal redemption, which then, when we do it in the week of Lech Lecha, together with Avram Avinu, we're not in this journey alone. Everybody's doing it together. And guess who is going along on the trip with us? Avram Avinu himself. So as we move forward in this journey, surely we will see the unfolding of the complete geula via our journey, via our determination, via going step by step through this process, trusting God and going Ela Aretz Asher Eka. May we see ourselves immediately this week in the third Beis Hamikdash, dancing with the final joy of realizing we have come home. We've come to the Beis Hamikdash. This is it. Let us celebrate forever. Thanks so much and have an amazing week.